guys, welcome back. Hope all is well. And one of my friends asked me to do a quick sort of first impressions of the Sanjoki markers, which there's a really good come in this case, and there's really only one size that I'm available. That I'm aware of. They basically come in this single set. They don't have replacements available other than buying another set. So there's that to be aware of. But these have been relatively inexpensive on Amazon. The first thing I want to talk about is this case, which is really quite nice. It has an actual metal buckle and Velcro everywhere. And the sides will actually Velcro out, and then you can fold the whole thing down, um, which is pretty neat. I believe you get 100 and something markers. So on Amazon at the time of recording, there is an 80 set that is $34, and the 120 set which is this one, is 44. So that's about where your price point is, which is to say the full set of Uhuhus is currently going for 170 for 300 markers. Um, it was about when I bought my set of 100 Uhuhus, they were, I think about $50. So, um, these are slightly less expensive than the Uhuhus. Um, and I think there are some pros and some cons in comparing the two marker lines, but let's just talk about what you get in this one. So if you take the ends off this breaks down into three different, well, let me move this out of the way a little bit. As you can see, it's a pretty big set of markers, but it comes in three segments that all have this sort of small holder at the bottom. I don't know if it doesn't feel like it's secure enough to leave them on their side permanently. They're more like designed to store upside down, and then if you wanted to do the sideways storage, you can do it on their side. The coloring system is totally numeric, which I found difficult after dealing with vendors where the coloring system is more broken down by like color family and intensity. Similar to the original Uhuhus and Copics and most other things, you have two ends on the marker. The ends are really marked. The marker itself is not marked with a color, other than on both caps it's marked with a numeric, but it doesn't tell you what its name is anywhere other than on the color sheet. On the gray end, you get a brush tip. I'll say this is less nice than the Copic Super Brush, but pretty on par with the Uhuhus, I think. Let me just grab one and I can show you for comparison. As you can see, these look very, very similar, even though they're different marker brands. So the Uhuhus have a mini bullet tip in the section I had, but I always forget. Yeah, they look almost, these look almost identical brush tips. The one thing I do like is that the gray line is on the brush tip because Copics work that way too, so I don't have to remember like a different thing where the Uhuhus are a little do it the other way. So let's talk about swatching and what you get in the set. They come with a lot of great stuff. They come with a color chart, which I filled in, and they come with a little bit of marker paper. And they also come with, I don't know what you want to call it, like a guard sheet, like a plastic sheet you can use if you're coloring in a book. Let me see if I can find it here quickly. So like if you were coloring in a journal or something, you could put this between the pages so there wasn't any bleed through. And they come with some basic marker paper, which I didn't open, but if you are in need of marker paper, that's something that it's a nice thing to have, but again, probably if you're someone who's interested in getting into coloring, you probably have paper of your own. The thing that really stands out to me is the case is really nice. Like if I grab my Uhuhu case that has random Blossom and Jetsam in it, but this is basically just a nylon bag. Obviously, you can buy a nicer case, but the fact that it comes with a nicer case out of the gate is pretty nice. Now, initially when I swatched these, they look a lot duller than other things that I have colored. But it turns out that was mostly the paper. Because if you see this paper, it looks white. But if you put, I don't know if this is reading on camera, but this is Expressa marker paper, and it's significantly whiter than this. Um, you do have a good bit of bleed through here. But this is probably a better comparison. These are some ice cream cones that I colored primarily with these markers. This green ice cream cone, both the green and the cone are done with Spectrum Noir tri-blends, these guys. Um, just to sort of get a point of comparison. So on a true marker paper, the colors are a lot more vivid than they looked during the swatching. So that was kind of an interesting thing I wasn't expecting. I thought that this would come out a lot duller. Um, I think like not so much. These are very juicy markers. So as you can see with some of these, might be hard to tell. Like you can see kind of on this cone here. Um, Probably bring it closer to the camera. That there's some bleed through. They're very juicy. They bled through a lot on the back as well, which like isn't necessarily a bad thing, but um, compared to using a Copic or the Spectrum Noir tri-blends, it's a lot harder to get a little bit of ink somewhere, which may or may not be a big deal for you. So I think they're definitely a good value for money. Oh, one other thing I'll say before I wrap up. Um, the markers come cling wrapped, but then they have these little guys, and these are like little mini egg cartons, and you could actually use these for as like a palette too. I believe Lindsay from the Frugal Crafter suggested that you could basically cut these up into like mini palettes, which is a good idea if you wanted to blend colors. Um, the blending on these are not blend, but there's some blending here. I think the blending is actually pretty good. It is not my strong suit all the time, but like I think this blend on the popsicles, both popsicles actually looks pretty nice. Where the darker section is initially done in essentially one color over. So, what do I think? I don't like the way the color system is numbered because it's really hard to tell what's next to anything. And if you look at this, like there are cases where you have this issue where colors change, but may or may not like change numer. Actually, I think they. Let's see if that holds true. Um, it looks like the first digit is sort of telling you what color family it's in. So I don't think you have the case of like an 11 and a 12 are really wildly different. But like this 5 and 6, right? That would be these two would be hard colors to blend because there's a big jump here. So I mean, I think that they're generally pretty good. Um, I think it depends where you are in your coloring journey and how important replaceability of a single color is to you. That's the major downside here. Obviously, the coloring system is slightly annoying to me, but like you could just once you swatch them, it doesn't matter because you can just use your swatch card and say like, "Hey, I have this purple," like, and I know this is 87 and 88, but I could I could look at these next to each other and figure it out pretty easily, even though the results on the paper are a little different. Also, I guess it bears mentioning as just sort of a good piece of info if you're new. Swatching on whatever paper you color on is a really handy thing to do. If I grab out, I may have showed you guys this in the past, but these are same stamps, different paper, same markers. So, and then here's sort of just a swatch of the markers. So I would say Hammermill 110, 100 is really good. The Expressed is really good if you want to blend. Nina 110 is also pretty good. Astro Bright was not great. And the thinner your paper, the more bleeding you're going to get. But anyway, feel free to swatch on whatever you would like. I think for currently about $40, these are a very good deal if I was brand new and basically was okay with saying, once I run out of a color, I'm going to probably have to figure out what that would be in like an Uhuhu or a Spectrum Noir and add it back in that way. So I think they're a really good starter set. If you're not a starter or own something already, I think generally speaking, like staying in the marker lines that you own a lot of stuff in is going to probably be the most economical option. So those are my thoughts. If you've tried these, let me know. And if there's anything specific, like if there's images I've colored before that you'd like to see in the Sanjokis, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that too. Talk to you guys later and have a great weekend.